Hey there. So today I am here in San Diego and I'm super excited to shoot this video for you today. This video is literally everything that you need to know about why Californians are making a move from here, like specifically San Diego to Salt Lake City. And it wasn't that long ago. Yes, it was a little over 3 years ago that my family and I made the move from here, San Diego, where we had lived for over 15 years. Over 15 years, I know. And we made the move to Salt Lake City. And today I'm excited to just share with you some different things of why we personally made the move from here to Salt Lake. And we're going to hop into it right now. Mariah here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your very first time here. I'm a luxury and active real estate agent in the Salt Lake City, Utah area, and this channel is literally everything you need to know about eating, working, playing, sleeping, and living in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. If that is of interest to you, consider subscribing down below and make sure you tap that bell for notifications so you are notified every week I drop a new video. We hear from people like you all the time who are looking to buy, who are looking to sell, who are looking to relocate, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move in a week, in a month, or even a year from now, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and it would be our absolute pleasure to connect with you. So it wasn't that long ago that my family and I were living here in sunny San Diego, and we absolutely loved it. Really, we loved it. And in fact, I remember when my husband and I are originally from Northern California, and we decided to make the move down here to Southern California simply for jobs. And we loved the weather. There were so many things about, San Diego that we absolutely loved. And we said, you know what, we'll be here for a couple of years and then we'll make the move back up to Northern California where both of our families live. Well, 1 year turned into 2, which turned into 3, which turned into 15, right? And we actually had no intentions of making a move to Salt Lake City. However, we just kept feeling this draw. We felt this draw for some reason to move out of this gorgeous place. And it's funny, now my family and I are just back here in San Diego visiting for the week. And as we're talking to friends and, previous neighbors that we had, and we're sitting out at the beach and, we're looking at just how gorgeous it is. People are like, Mariah, now, why did you guys move from here to there? And we start just rattling off all these reasons. And they're like, yeah, maybe we should actually consider moving to Salt Lake City too. So hopefully today, this video will just give you an idea of some of the different reasons why we personally made the move from California to Utah, and whether or not that might be a good fit for you or not is totally up to you. So number one is simply the cost of living. Yes, the cost of living here in California compared to Utah is a big one. As I'm sitting at the beach with some of our friends and the conversation comes up about, kids and families and all that kind of stuff. One of my buddies says, hey, you know what, Mariah, I actually just signed my 5-year-old up for soccer. And I was like, oh, that's great. She's like, yeah, fall session, it was $180 for 8 games. And I was like, oh gosh, I forgot how expensive that is. And we have twins. And so I remember same sort of thing where it's like, everything just costs a little bit more. In Salt Lake, I signed my twins up just recently, not only for fall session, but for spring session with a full uniform and a soccer ball. And it was $160 for the 2 kids. And that covers the fall session and the spring session. So little things like that were just the cost of living for little, activities for your kids to do. It ends up adding up. Same thing goes along with, when you're talking about like housing costs, utilities. I remember when we lived here, our little patch of grass, we paid almost $200 a month to water the front and the backyard. And it was really nothing. Like, we had nothing. In Salt Lake, we've got a lot of grass and it's half the price, and they use irrigation water. So just really some of those utility costs, some of the, day-to-day living, the groceries, the expenses, when we're talking about transportation in terms of like gas and cost of living here in California, it usually typically runs about $1 more than it does in Salt Lake. So, right now it's about I think it's $4.25 right now in Salt Lake. And then here in San Diego, it's $5.25. So It really just depends, but cost of living here is going to be more. Moving right along, when we're talking about cost of living, number two, simply taxes. Yes, taxes. And actually, this was an interesting one. And because my husband's a tax accountant, he's always keeping me, up to date with what the taxes are. In Utah, the tax rate went from 4.95% to 4.85%, and now it is actually 4.65%, and it is a flat tax. So depending on how much you make, you are still paying a flat tax. Many people really, really like that. Going along with property taxes in Utah as well. If it is your primary residence, so usually it is about 1% of that home value. However, if it's your primary residence, you get 50% off of that. So it's about, 0.5% for your property taxes. If you're living in, a lot of other states, those property taxes can be, significantly more. I know here in California, taxes are based on a gradual range depending on how much you make. The more you make, the more you pay. The less you make, the less you pay. But there is a gradual rate. So for some, they're like, hey, you know what? I feel like that's fair. I want to pay more. I want to pay whatever that is. But for other people, they love that flat tax that you are going to find in Utah. Number three, moving right along, something that I have noticed is simply the convenience. Yes, the convenience of living in Salt Lake. There are so many things that are just very conveniently located. And for example, the airport. The airport is basically 10-15 minutes right outside of Salt Lake City, and it is easy to get in, it's easy to get out. So if you are a traveler and you enjoy traveling, the convenience of that airport is really, really nice. Same thing kind of goes along with shopping, with restaurants, with all of those different things. Things are really conveniently located. And because actually, kind of going right along to the next one, is the traffic. Because the traffic, I mean, here I remember, living here for all those years, even though there was a grocery store that was very conveniently located, the amount of time it actually took to get there was 10 or 15 minutes. Even though it's only a couple of miles away, you're just sitting in the traffic. And I was talking to a mom and a friend yesterday as we're sitting at the beach, and she goes, Mariah, I now do like, I have the groceries delivered to my door because it takes me 20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes to get back. Not that we're that far away, but just the convenience of it and that traffic factor ends up taking and sucking a lot of your time away. I was talking to another buddy who was just talking about sports and her kids, and she's like, oh, yeah, one of my kids doesn't even want to do beach volleyball, but because it takes 30 minutes to get to the beach, not be only because it's 10, it's really 10 miles away, but it takes at least 30 minutes to get there because of the traffic. That she's like, you know what? All my kids are going to go play beach volleyball, and it's a great sport and all of that. But just the, getting to and from, it's hard to get your kids all, to the different places. At least that's what we have noticed. And the convenience of Salt Lake, things are 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away. Things are just really at your fingertips. Which leads me right into the next one. Number four is just the family friendliness that we have experienced in Salt Lake. And like I said before, there are so many things that are geared toward families. We've got excellent schools there. We've got different, like I've said before, 5K races, the mile fun run for kids. This summer, my kids participated in a running club that was just a neighborhood running club that was organized by a bunch of parents, like just locally, and they got to do it every day. They loved it. There's just so many different family friendly activities that are in, Salt Lake and the surrounding areas, that it's really geared for that. So if you have a family and you're thinking, oh, I remember when we lived here in San Diego, I would take my kids to Costco, and people would be like, are all of these your kids? I'm like, yep, I've got 4 kids. I had surprise twins at the end, and it's great. Yep, they're all mine. People look at me like, gosh, I can't believe you have so many kids. In Salt Lake, it's fairly normal to have more than one kid. Number five, simply the outdoors. Yes, the outdoors here in obviously San Diego are spectacular, but a lot of people who love living here actually love living in Salt Lake too, simply because of the outdoors. They love the outdoors here. They love surfing and running and riding bikes and doing those different things. Well, guess what? in Salt Lake, we've got a ton of the same things too. So if you are an outdoor enthusiast and you like hiking and biking and you like the skiing and the snowboarding and all of those different things, Utah may be a good fit for you. I know for us, I would go running down on the beach almost every single day that we lived here. And I absolutely loved it. But then I realized, oh, you know what? I can do the same thing in Utah, maybe not always during the winter time, which kind of leads me into the next one is climate. Yes, climate and weather. Here in San Diego, there's something during May and June. They call it May gray and June gloom, which basically just means it's a little, there's kind of this marine layer that rolls in that kind of has this, I don't know, it's more, it's just kind of foggy. Well, here, some people don't like, they think, oh, you know what, I'm in vacation land. It's supposed to be warm and sunny all the time. It's actually not. And sometimes, even in like August, you're going to get these Santa Ana winds that kind of blow through here. And it gets really, really hot and super dry. Well, obviously in Salt Lake, we have the four seasons. So the four seasons, some people love the four seasons and they go, oh my goodness, summer is amazing, but it is hot. Fall is gorgeous. It starts cooling down. And then you've got winter. People say that, Utah has a mild winter. For some, I know last winter, 2023, it was a very cold, snowy winter. And for some people, they're like, get me out of Utah. This was actually too much of a cold winter, but other people love that. I mean, we know we have a lot of friends that are skiers and snowboarders, and they were like, it just kept snowing, and we just loved it because that ski season just kept going on and on and on. People were actually skiing up until June this past year. So just you're going to get the four seasons here in California. Yes, you're going to see the four seasons, and depending on where you are, you're going to experience a little bit more of that or a little bit less of that. So weather, climate, those are big things to consider as well. Let's talk jobs. Yes, job opportunities here in San Diego and really in California. You've got a lot of major cities with a lot of job opportunities here. So that's a big draw of why people are moving here to California. But sometimes after people move here to California and they get started and they start their careers out, they realize, wow, you know what? The cost of living is so high. The commute takes a big wear and tear. What they're either paying for rent or how their housing situation can make a big difference on it. And so a lot of people are moving actually out of California and specifically to Salt Lake simply for the job opportunities where they go, oh, you know what? I've got my experience, I've got all those different things. And in fact, I am taking a job in Salt Lake. So lots of people are moving to Salt Lake. They're moving outside of Salt Lake too, because there's a big tech industry that is in the Silicon Slopes, which is located in Lehi, Utah, which is about 25 minutes south of Salt Lake. And then you've got all the jobs that are in and around Salt Lake. So jobs are another big one. And then finally is simply just the livability. Utah is an easy, like I said before, it's kind of a convenient place, but the livability in Salt Lake, it's a pretty easy place to live. Like I said, convenience, traffic, jobs, really the housing, what you're going to be able to purchase in Salt Lake compared to somewhere like here in San Diego, the space that you're going to get, the yard that you're going to get, the size of your home, just all these different things, the livability. One thing that I love are the drive-throughs that you have in Salt Lake City. I know I came here and I'm thinking, oh, I love the taco shops. I love these taco like I love all these different things. I'm like, it'd be so nice to just have a drive-through for some of these things. In Salt Lake, we have great bakeries and restaurants that you can actually get like a delicious sandwich. You can get a delicious salad. You can get, all these great things that are organic and blah, blah, all these, right? And you can go through the drive-through. It's so nice. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of why some people are making the move from here to from here in California to Salt Lake. We talked about cost of living. We talked about taxes, talked about really weather, climate, livability. And if you are thinking about making a move from anywhere really to the Salt Lake City, Utah area, my team and I hear from people like you all the time, and we absolutely love it. So if you're thinking about making a move in a week, in a month, or even a year from now, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, and it would be our absolute pleasure to connect with you. Take care and have a great one. Bye.